Okay, so now we're going to see meter in action. First of all, I need you to understand that meter occurs naturally in words. Adding emphasis to different syllables is how we pronounce things. So if you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, then words sound funny. And a great way for you to try that out is with names, especially, well, it has to be names that have more than one syllable. So, for example, we'll use Stephanie. Stephanie is a pretty common name. It is 3 syllables, Stephanie, and we put the emphasis on Stephanie. We put our emphasis on the first syllable. In other countries, for example, the reason I use this one is I lived in France as a foreign exchange student for a while, and the person I stayed with, her name was Stephanie, but that's not how they say it in France. In France, they say Stefani, Stefani, and they put the emphasis on the second syllable. And so if you look then at names of some of the people in our class who have more than 3 syllable names, then we can try that out. We say Brianna or Brianna. Either one of those puts an emphasis on the middle syllable. We don't say Brianna or Brianna. Alexander, it's Alexander. I think there are 2 emphasis in that name. We don't say Alexander. It sounds funny that way, right? I hope you're laughing at home. And Navia, Nevaeh is how some people pronounce this. Nevaeh. And I know, Navia, that you have had people mispronounce your name for that reason. I think I did it too. But her name is different than Nevaeh because she puts her emphasis on the na, Navia. And just the simple emphasis is what changes the pronunciation. So words have their own meter. And a trick you can use to figure out which syllable gets the emphasis is a really silly trick called calling the dog. This sounds ridiculous. Don't worry, everybody in the classroom is going to be doing this, so I want you to be doing this at home. So let's just pretend for a minute that we have a dog named Stephanie, and we want Stephanie to come home. The way you call your dog tells you where the emphasis lies. If I'm going to call my dog Stephanie home, I'm going to say, Stephanie, Stephanie, come here, girl, come on home. I would not say, or in France rather, they would say, Stefani, Stefani. So I hope what you're hearing is that the syllable that gets elongated is the syllable that gets the emphasis when we pronounce it normally. Let's try it. Let's just say we have an incredibly amazing dog that we have decided to name after an incredibly amazing person named Navia. So our dog named Navia is lost. We're not going to go through the neighborhood going, Nevaeh, Nevaeh, because we're not going to find her. We're going to say, Navia, Navia, and that lets you know where the emphasis is. All right. Now, I know that sounds silly, but what I want you to do right now is pause this video and try calling the dog with these 4 words. We're actually going to do before and after first. So I want you to pause it for just a minute, decide where you think the stresses belong in before and after by calling the dog, and then unpause it and check to see if you were right. I can hear you out there saying before, after, before, after. And that means that it's before and after is how we're going to label those. Unstressed on the short syllable and stressed on the one that you elongate. All right, now try with these longer 4-syllable words, responsible and graduation. I hope that you are practicing by saying responsible, because spawn, that is our long syllable, that is our emphasized syllable. And then graduation, You definitely emphasize the A. It is possible that this is an trochaic word that would go graduation. And so 2 syllables get an emphasis. And if you did it that way, that is also correct. All right, so I know calling the dog sounds a little silly, but my main point is for you to see that words have a natural meter and you can't just change it. 1 syllable words can be a little tricky, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. So now comes the really fun part. We are going to label songs and find the meter in the songs for more practice before we start finding meter in poetry. I hope that you will join us for the live lesson, but if you were unable to do that, then I will be posting a video of that live lesson later today.